Welcome back, everyone. Eric, welcome to the table again.
Thank you.
We've caught you up, so you're all good to go.
Indeed.
So, I believe everyone during the break has decided that we are going to split up and talk with some people, get some more opinions, some more insight, and then reconvene later at the Prosper Supper. But before we do that, Alina's character wanted to flash back and set something up with the Noddish. So Alina, you are currently talking with Asilka and Gilhelm. Gilhelm is sort of an elderly, not the oldest of the Noddish, but up there, probably like second oldest paternal figure within the ranks. And Asilka has brought you before him, and he says, "Alright, I understand that you are the fill-in for my dear boy, Comfrey, my dear grandson."
Yes. I heard about that awful tragedy, and I apologize for that.
Such a shame, such a shame.
Yes. I happen to be the artificer, professional look over on the thing. And let me tell you, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff happening that I...
Okay, well, allow me to collect myself and gather some other opinions on the matter, and in a day or two's time, I will have you collect yourselves, the evidence you've garnered, and all of the other people under your command. How about we set up a brunch? What kind of noble family would we be if we didn't discuss our business over brunch?
Of course.
It was the swinging back and forth that ended up getting me.
A brunch sounds delightful. I will collect my people, and how about brunches, breakfast, lunch? The
Yeah.
meeting tomorrow is afternoon.
Oh, tomorrow afternoon, right before the congregation.
Right before the
Right
congregation.
before the town meeting.
Yes.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds
And
delightful.
he holds out like a gruff hand and gives you like a shake that like almost dislocates your shoulder. And then like he puts his hand behind his back and says, "Oh, good, very good. Asilka, see them out." And he turns and goes about his business. And you're back to the present. You set something up.
I set up a brunch. Okay, now when you were talking about a dinner, I'll be like, "Oh, cool! There's a brunch tomorrow." I was indulged by y'all too.
Wait, a brunch where?
Oh, with the Noddish. They want to hear about what we've learned.
Alright. When did you get this done?
Oh, when I was supposed to be meeting up with y'all.
That makes sense, huh?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
glad that you weren't doing, more illegal things.
At least you were
I mean,
being
drugs would have
productive
been
and not
fine.
being
It would have been
taken
the drug.
away
I'm
by
not one
authorities.
to advocate for drug usage, but it would have been better than what Bix.
We don't need to introduce my fine master as to what go when. I'm glad you secured this position, master. Very noble of you. Yes, let's move on, everyone.
Okay. So everyone breaks and goes their separate ways. Are we headed
team.
out in groups?
Should we figure out where we're all going first
yeah,
so we
who's
don't go to
going
the
where?
same place?
Let's pull up the map.
how about I just talk to the Noddish?
You don't have to go
Over
to the Noddish.
brunch.
Yeah.
I think if anything, the Noddish and the Prospers are who we don't need to go to because we have time
we have
to set up
established
between
Yeah,
them.
Correct.
that's
I
valid.
think I'm gonna go to the church and just ask them to see who the other candidates are gonna be that they're expecting,
Okay.
and just kind of general stuff.
Okay, so I'm gonna move through some of these really quick if I don't have anything prepared. So, Kalia, you would go and you would know that during tomorrow's service, people are gonna volunteer to nominate themselves
Oh, okay.
or each other, and
Volunteer somebody else.
I volunteer.
Do
it.
You.
I mean, you could, but it'll essentially be during the town meeting. Everyone will introduce themselves and try to gain the town's favor all at once.
Okay.
Okay. And honestly, you have a big advantage because you are probably going to be presented up front and center first. Cool. So, the way it'll probably play out is you will go up first, you will present your case, and then if the town at large isn't satisfied, if unsatisfied individuals will volunteer to rival you.
Okay.
So you could just floor it and knock it out of the park, but if not, other alternatives will arise.
Okay.
Okay. Question for the party.
Answer for the Eric.
Have we talked to Mittens about this?
About what?
Just the whole idea of the situation.
The seeker?
Situation?
Yes.
You have. And she wanted to endorse you. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a lot of public renown.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay.
But she can corroborate any evidence you bring up.
Can we just say Mittens was there with us when we were discussing what evidence?
Oh,
we
sure.
were bring up?
Okay, Dust, where are you headed?
Either the orphans or the pirates. Where do you think?
I can probably cover the pirates since I
You
was
can
last
also
person
team up
in
if you
the-
want to both go to the same area.
Yeah, and also, is there still a group of people searching in the woods in the by the
No,
town?
that
Okay.
would have died down at this point.
Okay.
As soon as everyone got word that we're having a big
Event.
a big event that we're going to discuss everything at, everyone was like, okay, well, we're going to call in the efforts for now.
Okay.
Okay, you two pirates?
And also,
I'm tempted to go to the orphans because I kind of want to check if my sister's back yet.
Okay, you want to go to the orphans? You want to go to the pirates?
Sure.
Okay, cool. You go to the orphans. Your sister has not yet returned. Is there anything else you wanted to do?
Darn, sorry.
Shovel spilled M&Ms everywhere. I'm still
Okay, while you're cleaning that up,
Sorry.
Garrett, where are you going?
I'm gonna go back to
Because I don't want Aspen to gulp it like a
Robot
fancy
Woods.
There was one.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is a fun scene. Hey, do you have the new assets that I uploaded, the two robots? Do you have those in there? Okay, great.
which one do you want?
Two robots?
I'll introduce them as Garrett finds them.
Capital.
Okay, so you're just kind of going to the community space for the robots?
Yeah.
Punisher.
Okay, well there's one. I'm going to find all the M&Ms. You guys continue with what's happening.
Okay. All right.
Wait, this is
so
your thing? No,
It's my thing.
we're doing Garrett's
we're doing that because you were a little busy over there. So Garrett, you make your way to Bric-a-Brac Row, which is a just a ramshackle, just odds and ends, like scrap wood and like junkyard almost of mechanical pieces that were dragged here from Mendel and like salvaged, and like shoddy constructions made from the nearby woods. This lies to the north and kind of neighbors the northern road to Mendel. And it is teeming with clockworks who call it home. You are walking about, and is there anyone you're going to specifically?
You said there's like a central like gathering place.
Yeah, totally.
Is it
There's
full of people.
It would have a couple people. Things are still a little spread out, and there aren't like the population of clockworks here is like 40, 50 total. So there's at this point in time, it's not really a big evening conglomeration, but there is this central space where there are essentially just a bunch of benches set up around a little trash bin, like a Mendelian trash bin, which is currently has a fire going on inside of it. And there's kind of this junk wall of just like stuff that's been littered around. It looks like a weird robot Stonehenge. And sitting on the benches that go in the circle are a few automata. And you would know that this space is usually used for philosophical discussions and debates.
Okay.
And it is where a lot of clockworks spend their free time.
Before I do anything, I want to use my channel divinity and give myself proficiency with persuasion.
Sweet.
And then I want to kind of starting in the central zone, and then I want to fly up and kind of just circle maybe like a 20, 30 foot thing. Like if this is the
Are
central
you
bit, I just
gonna
wanna go right
fly
here.
over their heads and broadcast down?
No, I just want to be like, hey, if
Okay.
you would all be so kind as to lend me your attention.
These
and
guys-
meet in this central
These guys are very closely knit, and you're willing to bet they know where each other are at most times. It would probably be more effective to approach the two that are waiting here at the fire's edge and convince them to go and spread the word.
Okay, bet I'll do that.
Okay.
But I still do the channel divinity thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you walk up to each of them. They seem to kind of be not engrossed in a conversation right now, and they're just kind of solemnly both in a contemplative state. There is one that's kind of lithe and thin in construction with like a very skeletal build, and then there is another that is the polar opposite, just this hulking mass of just like large metal slabs that are like wrapping around his form.
Excuse me, you two. I'm Bixby Oakerbelly.
They're sitting like separate, so you get to pick one to talk to.
I'll go to Rotund.
Okay. Hayden, if you could pull up the art for Bucket and put it in the art channel.
Oh,
Bucket.
no way.
So Garrett, you walk up to this figure and you hear his head turn loudly. His eyes kind of rattle around in the interior of his thing. They're kind of attached to little spindles, but like the bucket that encases them just kind of throws them about. And both of them kind of like adjust themselves and peek through the same eye hole because they're kind of off center. And he says, "Hi."
Hello. Copper Top. We.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know ya.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Great. Some of my friends and I'm sure you know about the Sweetmakers. I know that
Oh yeah.
the Clockwork community hasn't been here for a while, but if you all plan to make yourselves a home, my friends and I, we were. Have you heard about the meeting tomorrow? The Seeker position?
Not really. I'm not one for, the meetings of the town and the church and stuff.
Right. It would be a great help to the community, and I think if we wanted to really establish the clockwork as a part of this town, there's a meeting going on tomorrow to appoint the position of Seeker. Someone would be in charge of locating the Sweetmakers. If you didn't know, they left. Some of my friends and I, we were investigating. I would really appreciate it if you could kind of spread the word, get as many clockwork as you could at that meeting tomorrow. It's at this time that I totally know that it's at.
Yeah, make a persuasion check.
Can I thought for myself?
Sure.
Yay.
We'll say it's at 1 for future reference.
1.
The meeting.
No, the meeting. The meeting is at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Oh hell yeah.
Don't you have advantage?
19. No, I have proficiency.
Oh, okay.
Double proficiency? No, just proficiency. 23.
Okay. He's. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I might spread the word then. And you see he reaches over his shoulder to like a sooted cage, and he opens up this little cage, and a canary kind of pops out, and he kind of goes, and then the bird flutters off his shoulder, and he says, "Yeah, we'll get the word spread real good." And he wanders off.
God, I love him.
Would you have
Bucket.
perchance seen where Coppertop was at last?
Coppertop? I think he's working.
Figures. Thank you, Bucket. Really, truly, you've been a doll.
Yeah, of course. And he kind of like goes but with like a pickaxe arm. And he's like, and then he glumps off.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.
Wonderful.
That's adorable.
Oh, I love Bucket.
Okay, are you gonna talk to the other friend too?
Might as well.
Okay. You walk over to the other individual. Make a history check to see if you know him.
I'm interference.
Yeah. Okay.
Haha.
Roll on the mini table.
Well.
Okay. You don't know them.
Okay, I'll do
It's
this.
good to get those out of the way, though.
My name is Bixby Okerbelly. I came here with Coppertop. Would you by chance be familiar?
This guy, it's clear that his neck isn't very flexible, so he kind of just goes like, and like turns over his shoulder to look at you, and he says, "Yeah, what's up? Have we met?
I don't believe so. You're,
It's all right. I'm Muskrat."
I don't want to shake your hand because I'm injured.
Okay, that's fine.
Muskrat.
Yeah, right. Hayden, show the art of Muskrat.
You're interested.
Still?
Yeah, if you could put that in the art channel too. Muskrat is this very skeletal
Garrett
fellow.
is injured.
He's a very minimal build, and you can see that his mobility has kind of been affected by that. He's not very flexible, but he is very lithe. He says, "All right, so what's up?"
I'm not sure if you overheard my conversation with Bucket, but
Oh no, sorry, I was deep in thought.
oh, no wonder, no problem. I understand completely.
You say the same thing you said to Bucket. I realize
Yeah.
I should have had him over here. He says, "All right, I gotcha. Make a persuasion check."
Thoth?
Yes. Not one. No, it's a 7. Okay.
13.
13. Okay, he says, "Yeah, I think I can do that for you. I'm pretty quick."
Wonderful, thank you.
All right, well, I'll go off and do that then.
Of course, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, see ya. And he hops off, and you're not fully sure that he is intent in going, and maybe won't sell it quite well, but he'll do. He'll spread the word fine. He's polite enough to spread your message. Okay, so yeah, Muskrat heads out, and that's what Garrett does. Eric.
Real quick.
Yes.
Floor wet by freezer. Problem?
I think that there's a couple ice cubes.
Oh. Okay.
It's probably fine.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Quick, before getting warped.
I'm going to pirates, correct?
Yay. I would say
Pirate
just
voice.
How many of the pirates do I know personally?
You probably know a good handful. I wouldn't say you know them
Yeah.
very well, but you're
Like-
acquaintances with a lot of them. You most certainly know Nana.
Yes.
Okay. So is that where you're headed?
Yes. I love Nana.
Nana lives here.
Okay.
I think, really quickly, I'm just gonna assume, my character's gonna assume you know all the pirates and just be like, if you see Silas, say hi, and walk away. No explanation.
Okay.
Silas?
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 Silas makes more sense.
Class.
It's okay.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh, this is my brain.
Okay, Eric, you head off
today.
to the shipyard. So you head to a collective port that used to be within your family, but was at some point sold to the Dread fleet, the last fleet of the Dread pirates. This area is comprised of several ships that have all been bolstered together in order to create this area. So each of those ships there is numbered. We can go into more detail later, probably. But as you're approaching, there are just these spindling masts of wood that reach into the sky. There are old, forgotten, haven't been drawn in a few years, just sails that are just kind of like floating lifelessly through the air. The rigging has long since been neglected and just kind of clusters like tangled dreadlocks. And wandering about at a not very quick pace are all of the pirates that are just kind of meandering through their abode. But you make your way to Nana's ship. We're going to put Nana up here. Hayden, if you could grab Nana's art. Nana inhabits her ship, her first ship that she ever owned, the Admirer, which is ship number 1 on the map.
Oh, the little guy.
Really
Yep.
tiny one.
It's the smallest.
Nice. That's a good one. Okay. Is there like a door? Does she have like a
There's a couple. You have to cross the docks to get to it. And usually you need Edlark with you. You're getting closer to one of these docks, and you see a black and white tabaxi just kind of. She looks miserable, but she's just like hands on the railing, just like head like pushed up against her palm, and she's just leaning over into the water, taking deep breaths.
Into the water? Oh.
Well, no,
Well, it's
she's
looking
not like
like
going in the
she's
water.
looking
She's
in
just
the
taking
water.
deep breaths, and she's just like, she seems like really, she just seems miserable. You're not sure why, but it seems like she's the guard posted right now.
I'd like to walk up and say, hello, are you alright?
Hi, it's you. Yeah, I'm fine.
Is there anything I can help you with at the moment?
No, can I help you? I'm assuming you want through.
Yes, I'd like to speak with Nana. I have news of things happening in the town that I believe everyone should hear.
She's specifically told me to let you through if you can. So, by all means.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay. You pass her up. Okay. And you head
Got
on.
really nervous.
You head onto the deck of the Admirer. This is a very intimidating place. It's very drab, very dark, and there's a lot of like black sails that kind of just create this ambient shadow that envelops the decks of these ships. The Admirer specifically is in the shadow of the biggest ship. Ship number 5 there is a ship that was formerly known as the Cowersire, but was renamed to the Footman once it was permanently docked here. Most of the vessels are like, trade vessels and ferrying vessels that have all been fitted for war. The Cowersire is the actual warship. And as such, it is massive. But yeah, you enter the Admirer, the smallest, tiniest little trade vessel. And you get to the decorated door, which is just covered in like local knickknacks, you would say. And yeah, there's a faint glowing candle within as the sun begins to kind of set. No, it's earlier. No, yeah,
It's like 5.
Okay.
yeah, it's like 5.
I'll knock on the door and say, Nana, it's Leaf.
Ah, Leaf, come on in.
Okay, I open the door.
Yeah. You enter and you see her. She seems surprisingly relaxed. Just kind of like arm slung over her shoulder, like fully leaned back. She isn't in anything fanciful. Like you think of Dread Pirate and you're thinking like a large cape, massive fucking feathered cap. Nothing of that sort. She seems pretty normal, like she's been out and about in the town. And she just says, how you doing, Leaf? Got any news?
I do. Well, first, I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just peachy.
I'm glad to hear that.
Close the door behind you if you wouldn't mind.
Will do.
I heard you investigated the estate.
I've been investigating the state. That's actually part of what I'm here to talk to you about.
I had assumed. What do we got?
Well, we have a couple of leads. I guess first I'd like to ask you what you know of where Edlark and them and his brother have gone.
Well, I don't know much. To you it may seem like I do, but, I have to keep up appearances, hence my facade of
Here.
comfort. But, I don't have much more than a few theories.
Same here. The most damning thing that we found was a fresh batch of candies, of the farewell sort.
You explain it to her. She doesn't, clock it just based off of that, but she says, all right.
Aside from that, there are a couple of other things. And the biggest thing currently is that we are working on appointing someone to a position of
Oh, yes,
to investigate. Yes.
Are you in line for that?
I'm not, but I have a good friend that I can investigate.
Well, that's That's close enough. I'll tell you what, Leaf. In case you're put in a position of financial power, you may not want to waste too much funds. I don't think they're in any danger per se. I think they left of their own free will, like this confirms. I don't know if you were paying attention, but do you remember the 7th ship that used to be docked here?
Not by memory.
Make a history check.
Oh.
And you have advantage because you were involved in the political going-ons.
Understandable. Ooh, I have good history as well. 17.
Okay, you remember it. It was called the Loot. And the basic consensus around the Loot is that not all of the pirates were 100% on board with retiring. And so some of them defected, restored the loot in private and like under secrecy, and at some point rallied a crew and they set back out to sea to adventure once more. It's not talked about a lot because it is kind of a bittersweet topic because like, hey, our friends they're still having fun, they're still adventuring, but we likely will never see them again.
Right.
And so but it was this thing where it just disappeared one night, and the next day everyone was like, yeah, they left.
Okay.
She says, if I were to guess, I think they're checking in on our friends.
An interesting theory.
I think Edlark has a lead on the Loot's whereabouts. And I think they are, out of respect for the crew of the Loot, not disclosing the direction that they're going. Now, granted, there isn't a missing...
going or the Sweetmakers?
So the Loot left because they didn't want to be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so she thinks that the Sweetmakers went to them, and they're not going to reveal the location of them because they chose to leave in confidence and by cover of night, and so they don't want to jeopardize. She thinks she doesn't want them. She thinks they don't want to jeopardize that.
Yeah.
And so she says, I think they figured it out somehow. Maybe they heard a report or something, and I think they're just going to touch base. I think they'll return at some point.
Well, I hate to be negative, but that seems awfully hopeful to me.
True. I did have my men search for any royal vessels that were missing and came up empty. So, I mean, unless they ended up somewhere on land, but I don't think that's very likely. It's flimsy, I'll admit, and it's very speculative, but it's my best guess.
To me, their disappearance feels more permanent.
How so?
Well, I mean, for one, farewell doesn't seem like a very much of a see you again soon type of thing to me. On top of that, they left so suddenly, and it feels like if they were planning on returning, that would likely mean that the trip was planned beforehand, and they would have been preparing for it, possibly. I mean, maybe they were preparing for this trip for a long time in secret. Who knows? But to me, I am not hopeful of their return.
All right. Make an insight check.
$16.
You can tell that stings her a bit.
Yeah.
Although she isn't willing to bring it up, you're assuming that a piece of evidence that she is warring with in her mind is that any action Edlark would have taken, she would have expected he consulted her.
Yeah.
So it
Right.
doesn't seem like he did.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. So she kind of, you leave her with kind of this bitter sentiment, and she says, "Well, good luck."
I hope to see you tomorrow.
Indeed. And you exit. Alrighty. Dusk, what were you doing?
Orphans.
Orphans. Okay, cool. You head to Orphan Row. Any particular building? There's a couple. There's a brothel. There's the Kindling Will. There's your house. You go to your house.
Yeah, I'd first
the
like to
theater.
go into my house and see
Please.
if I can
Oh,
find
right.
my siblings. Yeah.
She's not home yet. So do what you will with that information.
Is my brother there?
Yeah, he would be there.
I think your sister got.
I'm gonna go talk to Roman.
At least she's maybe.
Hey, Roman.
Thanks.
How you been the past few days?
I've been fine.
Yeah. Have you seen Bailey around?
No, haven't heard from her.
Okay.
Don't worry. She's probably just being thorough. I would expect she found nothing and is now turning over every stone from here to Mendel.
Okay. Understandable. If you hear from her, could you just let me know?
Of course.
Cool.
Did you hear about the meeting tomorrow for the Seeker?
I did. I plan to attend.
Yeah, I'm also planning on attending. One of my friends that I've been investigating with is going for the role, and is gonna keep our little party of investigators. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I see you've proven yourself, I assume.
I like to think I have, or am in the process
Well,
of
let's
doing
hope
so.
Bailey doesn't come back anytime soon then. You guys kind of laugh over that, and he says, I mean, yeah. Just be prepared to explain to her.
Yeah, that'll be
Her.
fun.
Yeah. Thankfully,
comes
she
back
can't
during
afford
the
to
meeting.
be both excessively thorough and overprotective.
Luckily for me. Yep.
Alright, well, don't do anything too rash.
I'll try not to.
Yeah, don't do anything your sister would do. Yeah, okay. Is that your meeting?
I would like to go ask around for any possible theories that any of the
Okay.
orphans have.
Okay, do you want to go to a specific location and investigate NPCs that you know, or do you want to go just like walk up to someone random and try and do that a bunch of times?
I want to go to the theater.
Okay.
I
Cool.
feel like there are creative minds there.
Okay.
Who will come up with fun things.
All right.
Yeah.
You go to the theater, and you enter. There isn't a show going on right now, and the way that it works is usually there's a show planned, and then people come in, and maybe you don't know if anyone showed up to the most recent show.
Yeah.
But you enter, and there isn't really an owner anywhere. A lot of the places in Orphan Row you can very easily slip into, and
Can't always slip out as easy.
you enter. There is an owner of this establishment nearby that you can speak to if you want, but there is most prominently in sort of a mock dimmed theater. There's a curtain kind of roped around the back of the stage, and there is a performer practicing beneath a electric spotlight.
I want to go talk to that.
Go talk
Wait,
to
wait,
that.
Electric spotlight?
Electric spotlight.
We have established that the
There-
electricity in the theater is different than the electricity in the Sweetmakers.
By like a lot.
Yeah.
It's magic powered.
Yeah.
Magic electricity.
They have.
Well, it's magic to charge the battery, and then an electrical system to distribute it through the theater to lay persons who operate the stuff.
Okay.
So basically, instead of paying a mage to be at every performance to shine a spotlight, they've paid a mage to come, charge the spotlight, and leave. And this specific performer is a clockwork gentleman. He has this like this suit that goes on over his like exoskeleton, and you can see that it doesn't quite cling as he moves. It just kind of waves through where his rib cage isn't. And he also has like this top hat that is made of his same like carapace, so like that's a part of his design, but it is cut down the middle, so it's only half of a top hat, and there are like inner like the other half is like a glass thing that lets you see the inner workings of his head.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it has like the brim flips to the other side, so it's only a half brim on this side and hat on this side.
Okay.
Yeah. And he is practicing some like Shakespearean-esque like playwright stuff right now, and he's got a piece of paper that he's holding around his back, and he's like, and that is the delinquency, and he's going through some lines for something.
When he comes to like a decent stopping spot, I don't want to interrupt in the middle of stuff.
Yeah.
Can I clap for him?
Oh yeah, totally. He kind of blinks through the spotlight. You see him kind of duck forward to get his eyes to adjust correctly, and he says, a cheeky audience member, I see. Cheating the fair.
You sound amazing up there.
Well, I'm afraid to inform you that not paying patrons don't get a fully memorized script.
That's a fair point.
I hope you do not spread the word. This is my repertoire.
I won't. You are a fabulous performer. May I ask your name?
Yes, I am Andre.
Well, it is lovely to meet you, Andrew.
As to you, what's your name?
My name is Attica. Not with an N. I'm just going around asking a few people some questions, and I was wondering if I could ask them to you.
Oh, of course.
Cool.
Seems to be the buzz.
Yeah, so I'm sure you've heard about the Sweetmakers and their disappearance.
I have.
Yeah, a few of my friends and I have been investigating.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have heard of the town meeting tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
Actually, one of my friends is going for the role of Seeker. Thank you.
Ah, yes. Fascinating.
We're just kind of going around and spreading the word, and hope to see you at the meeting for our support.
I will make time.
Thank you. We will have all of our evidence there to present. We all have evidence there to present.
You see that unlike some of the other Clockwork Automata, he actually has kind of like animated facial features. So when you fumble, his eyebrow goes like, and like, it makes a little sproing noise. And yeah.
Well, there are just some things that we don't seem important, but we will share everything important with you guys.
Yes, of course.
Don't want to go rambling about unimportant information we have found.
Yes.
Only you didn't have to make.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check, just to see if he'll come.
Improvisation.
Yeah. And this guy has an orator. Maybe if you convince him, you can get some other folks on board.
That one.
Case. Do you have
I like how you
inspiration?
colored it.
I have
You want to
inspiration.
use your
Should I use
inspiration?
my inspiration?
Might as well.
I mean, if he doesn't believe you and then thinks
Yeah,
that
it's
we
kind
are
of
hiding
important.
information
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
This
if you
is
go
kind of an important
that
place.
eyebrow's gonna fucking skyrocket.
It's gonna break.
Yeah.
It's gonna fling into the ceiling.
Hit you in the face.
Oh, that was much better.
Yes.
Okay.
21.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So 21. So he says, yes, of course. You sound very well prepared.
Yes, I hope we are.
Well, break a leg.
Thank you.
And he. Oh, and do you have
Sorry,
something
yeah, I
to
have one more question for you.
say? Of course.
I'm just kind of curious. I want to get some ideas. Do you have any theories about maybe what happened to the Sweetmakers?
Oh, I've only been here a short while. I haven't formulated anything of that sort. I know that my employer is on good terms with them. Yes.
They are. Yeah. Okay.
One of the few locations entrusted with this electricity I've been hearing so much about.
Yes, a very interesting mechanic indeed.
Very.
Well, thank you so much. Have fun memorizing your lines.
Of course. All right, Alina, did you want to head anywhere in particular, or do you just want to kind of hang out?
Sorry. Where are the other options?
It might not be super great, super helpful for you to reach out to anyone, and for the sake of time, I might just rush us past if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll go to the bar.
In which
Dinner
case,
time.
everyone has done a thing.
Go.
Eric,
Go?
Go.
you've provided yourself as a candidate to the Pirates. Dusk, you've provided yourself as a candidate to the orphans and the theater. Garrett, you've shown yourself as you've offered the candidacy to the folks, and you didn't do much, I don't think.
Yeah, I was just trying to see
Church.
what I did church.
Well, the church is already on your side.
Yeah.
So your bonus is already calculated. You have increased this score by 2. Each of you have increased it by 1, leading us to a total of 5.
5!
Okay.
All right.
Oh, it's not a 6-sided die. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, you guys are at a 5, and now we all meet outside
I went to the
the
bar.
Prosper Estate.
You're showing up to this dinner
Can I
time.
convince all the
Roll persuasion.
Can I convince all the drunk people?
Guys, come see me and my friends tomorrow.
Ayo!
It's
Rounds on me!
Okay, actually, you can spend gold, and I will give you a bonus to this persuasion check for each gold you spend on strangers.
A bonus to each.
How much is that?
Okay, I would like to put in.
Getting a source of income.
Alright, okay, I put in.
it's like the stock market.
Except a bar full of drunk people.
I like to put in.
It's operated with the same people.
Okay, you put in 10 gold pieces, so you have plus 10 in addition to your other persuasion thing.
Wow.
Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
We'll say you gotta beat a 15.
Please.
Just have to
Oh,
roll
wait.
more than a 5.
Persuasion, I have a 3.
Dude,
So I
just
just
keep
need
going
a 2.
down.
Roll it.
Alina, just roll!
No way!
Mission failed successfully.
So you rolled exactly enough to secure
I drilled
an extra there. Okay.
Yeah.
2! Okay, so we all meet up outside the Prosper
2 of them.
abode, and we are about to go
Wait, how much did
to
I?
dinner.
I added
I'm
1.
proud of you.
Okay. So as we move forward, if you guys want to summarize, we don't have to go into full depth as we've already elaborated on these points as a party a lot. It will mostly just be you guys provide a point, and I will respond as the congregation who you're speaking to, whether that's the public or the Prospers or the Nodish. So let's go ahead and set the scene.
Like Ace of
Did we talk about what we're telling the royals instead of the public?
We're telling everyone the same thing.
Okay.
We're at a 6. 6 right here.
Should we tell them now, or should we wait to tell them until the meeting?
Well, we tell them now so that they're not.
We tell the
like,
Prospers, then we tell the Nodish, then we tell the public.
Then we tell the public.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
But make sure
Okay.
that we don't tell the Nodish that we told the Prospers first.
Of
Okay.
course.
Or the Prospers that we're gonna go tell the Nodish.
Exactly.
Okay, in which case, we meet outside the Prosper Estate.
Daddy, I'm home.
Alright, so the Prosper Estate is a domed mansion. There's sort of a few wings that are outside of the central dome, but the central dome is essentially a massive druidic greenhouse. And with foliage so thick you can barely see through to the other side. And as you guys are very fancifully escorted, you are brought into the greenhouse itself, where the dining table stretches from one end of the growing bed to the other. The dining table itself is covered in greenery and natural growing vines, and each chair seems to pull and push itself into place by use of the interconnected root systems beneath. Already seated at the table are most of the Prosper family, ready to hear some news. The younger kids have been relegated to a little rock.
It's a kids' table.
Yeah, they have a little kids' table, so that they don't, hear any of the big sensitive stuff.
They have painted rocks for chairs.
Sure, yeah. It's like a cute little rock garden that there's
Yeah,
like
do
flowers.
chalk on them.
Yeah.
Oh, adorable.
But yeah, they're at their own space. You don't need to worry about that. So at the main table, remember the Prosper family is very large. So we're gonna say it's about like 20 folks strong. All of like distant relatives and like interconnected family trees. But there's primarily two main family trees here. There is yours, and then there is the one that kind of gets cut short, which is kind of your uncle. Your uncle's lineage, which is has been stifled. So only two sons beneath your uncle, one of which isn't here, and we're not going to go into the details of the family tree, but if a character becomes relevant, I'll establish them. Eric, as you sit down in your usual place, you're glancing around the table and you see, I'm going to give you the notable people. First off is Carol. Carol looks very troubled. You met with Carol earlier.
Yeah.
You know that she has some sort of note and she doesn't want anybody to see it, and is also very stressed about the Sweetmaker's disappearance for some reason. You also notice her older sister. Carol's older sister sits next to her. And she, I think everybody notices, like mostly all of the Prospers look the same, but Mariah, who is the older sister of Carol, looks very, very different. Mariah is notably not showing any skin head to toe, except for like the very tips of her ears, which is coming out from her curled hair. Her face is even guised by a deep, like dark wood mask. There's a high collar, there are full armed gloves, and she just sits silently. You can't even like gauge her gaze through this mask. It just casts a shadow on her face. And she just sits there politely and silently. So she stands out for her general appearance to everyone at the table. But Eric, you've been at many like family discussions. Mariah usually is not present because for whatever reason she is not a politically active member of your family, and she seems to choose to not attend when she is summoned. She usually only attends when something is directly relating to her, or it's really big like this. Do
I know why?
Make a history check to see how well you know her.
That's pretty
Wait,
good.
isn't Mariah also Leaf's sister?
No, she would be your cousin.
11.
11? I mean, you don't know more than just like her past. You can only assume that her antisocial stuff comes from that. And you would know that the reason for her shroud are her burns.
Right. I can't remember if you already given me that detail or not.
I don't think I have.
I don't think so either.
So scars and scares and eat. Never mind.
So everyone sits down. The room is kind of hushed. All you can really hear are the kind of rustling of these interior leaves, which are being kind of furrowed by an artificial magical wind.
Bixby is actively fighting to keep his attention at the table. Like, it's on wraps, but... Oh boy.
Why does my brain automatically picture Bixby sitting at the kids' table?
Bixby should be sitting at the
That's kind of fitting, yeah.
Anyways,
I don't know if I'm offended or not.
your
Hit the draw.
your father begins, Leaf, by holding up a glass of wine and says, "A toast to our newcomers."
Toast?
Uh,
True.
Yeah, you all have a toast. Careful. You have this toast, and and the discussion commences. Leaf, your father prompts you to begin however you see fit.
Do you need the cheat sheet?
Should we do that summary thing, or should we?
Yeah, let's
Are
do
we
the
being
summary
served
thing.
food and more importantly booze?
I got the
Yes.
cheat sheet up. Cool.
You just toasted with booze, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I just need a refill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess what? Another?
What?
Yeah,
You're
like
already,
a
like,
grapevine
tipsy.
furls down from the ceiling and squirts wine into your glass.
Wow. My dad is
That's a
quite the
little
druid. Okay. I'll stand up, address everybody, say, well, thank you for inviting this dinner for my friends and I. We have many things to share. I would like to pass it over to my friends. You know, we have a more investigative people working for us.
This is my part. So
And then
You should pass it on to Kalia afterwards to give conclusion, because Kalia is the one running for the position.
Oh god.
Okay. So I am like the
oh,
When he
got
tries to
I
hand
got
you a
it.
cheat sheet and you like spill wine on it.
This one's over, it'll be fine. Wing it, you got it.
okay, whatever. I am the artificer and the specialist and all of the like mechanics and blah blah blah. This is somebody that I just met, but they're good at magic.
Bixby Okerbelly, apprentice to Master Artificer
Yeah.
Lifroy. What's your last name? Lifroy. Lifroy.
Okay.
Off to a great start.
We have one more chance. We have another noble family. Let's
Do you
make
wanna
it.
take
This is
over,
just
Clea?
test one.
I
Yes.
haven't even gotten
What?
to top.
What did he say?
Okay, So
it's
there.
going swimmingly.
So, okay, I was sent in to investigate some traps that were in place. There were a few needle traps to protect us from electrical stuff that's really dangerous for people who don't know what they're doing. I do. So I was sent in. They have a lot of stuff that I don't think anybody's like talked about. Really fancy mech that I haven't even seen in my days, even though, of course, I know how it works. Now,
Mech or tech?
tech.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, I was gonna say, wait, are we talking about, is the dog?
oh the dog!
Don't bring up your dog!
They had a dog.
No! We agreed to not talk about that. Said Garrett, not Bixby.
Do you bring up the dog?
You do like an owl scream.
Well, okay, first off, Alina has brought up our first piece of evidence,
Yes.
which is the death traps.
Yes.
So, Alina, these are noted in my notebook, and they have a special caveat, because you are telling a half-truth. Please make a deception check.
How am I telling? What am I not?
Soft.
You're telling them that there was a trap in the manor, and that trap was a needle trap, and you are neglecting to mention the axe trap.
The other one
Oh.
was needle operated.
That's true! It was
Oh my
needle
God.
triggered. Deception check.
Soft.
There's a needle that
No.
could have been handled in a way.
We could have just poked ourselves with a needle instead of getting hit by the.
24.
Okay, that seems to go over smoothly. There's a murmur of concern, but not surprise. And you have conveyed one of your points successfully. Let's go ahead and, or actually, roll a d4 for me.
Oh.
D4?
Yep.
Door.
Oh, pyramid.
4! Okay.
Oh.
Points go up by 4.
10.
You're at 10.
I'd like to point
favor.
out how I was slightly drunk during that, but then
Yeah.
it made sense.
You did good though.
Even
so,
drunk, I said the science.
So Kalia, they're like, and there was a needle trap, and it was a little concern. Oh, and then we found it, and like you step in and like push them down.
Alright, we're going for needle. Yeah, I'm gonna just be like,
We also didn't mention the candy.
And we found it quite curious that there were many different electrical circuits that were. Oh, we're talking about candies?
No.
Oh,
I
keep
should.
going.
Oh, okay.
This is a good practice run.
That could have possibly led to something more private that was hidden to the public, and we're believing that if we follow through with searching where they led towards, we may be able to uncover more information on their whereabouts.
Okay.
About the rumblies.
And we have also reason to believe, I've heard from an anonymous source, I wish to keep their name private, that there has been tremors beneath the estate, and we may believe that may be tied with the electrical units.
Okay. Go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage because you've got some extra Tibble evidence.
Yeah!
Shout out
Let's go, Tibble!
Persuasion.
Well, don't shout.
Oh, plus 7. That's a,
Good advantage.
yeah, I get advantage here? Oh,
Because Tibble information.
oh yeah. Oh, okay, well 16 plus 7, so
23.
Enough.
25.
Alright, yeah. So you made that point. And the Prospers all kind of talk amongst each other. Go ahead and roll another d4 for me.
Door.
For the audience at home. 1.
1. Okay. Oh, don't. Okay.
Metal
Don't roll the
dice
metal
on
die on
I'm
my
so
phone.
sorry. Yeah, you know what? For the audience at home, don't do that.
All right. So we go up by 1 more point. We're now at 11.
Wouldn't it be great if that was a counting dice?
11 is
It would
opposite
be.
the 10.
Oh, I have those. Shit. Okay. Okay. So keep going. Or actually, wait. Hang on. Did I
Any
have
other
those?
response to that?
Yeah, okay, they do have a response to that. So they say, oh, very interesting. So there's more areas within the estate that we've yet to explore. Is it possible that they have simply been in the estate this whole time?
It could be possible. I wouldn't rule it out as a possibility, but we have also. You did mention the candies, or no?
No,
Right.
but I can.
Okay, cool. That would also lead to the point that. we
Well,
believe, like
You
you
know,
said.
there's one more piece of fairly damning evidence that we found, and it's one of the first things we found in the estate was a fresh batch of candies. And upon further inspection,
Talk about how we're gonna bring them tomorrow to the meeting.
Do you have them now?
Can we say
No.
that we had mittens like wrap them up and make
Oh.
them presentable?
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
Okay.
so we do have them now.
Yeah, we can say we brought a couple.
Okay. Do you want to like put one on the table?
Sure.
Okay,
A
cool.
fresh batch of candies with the title Farewell.
The flavor farewell.
Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll persuasion with advantage
Because of the extra.
because of the evidence.
Why did I
You're so consistent. We
Oh,
love
you
that.
didn't have evidence,
I have all the evidence I
Okay.
need.
Persuasion.
and you were lying.
Only sort of.
Only sorta, but still.
Where's my persuasion?
Did you get in your
16.
You did that. The horse flew into the
That
sky.
is just enough. That is exactly the thing you needed to roll.
Isn't he
So
also family? Shouldn't he get
that one is only a 1 though. You don't have to roll
family
for that.
ties?
Goes up to a 12.
Cool.
Okay, continue.
Um,
There's a murmur and like, oh, this is troubling. So they must have intentionally left or intend for us to think that it was that.
yes.
And one particular noble pipes up and says, so, or actually,
Does Daddy say it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, God, do you
I think actually Carol says it. I think Carol says,
Oh.
so is there, if this is a hidden room, is it perhaps an escape passage or, a way for them to exit that we wouldn't have known about?
This is entirely possible, but I mean, we have yet to actually access this supposed area.
Your father stands up and says, I hear you are intending to pursue the new role upcoming. What is it, Seeker?
Yes.
Is that going to be the primary focus of the investigation once you have, if you have been appointed? Or are you searching elsewhere?
I believe the primary focus of us, specifically, what's your character's name? Nadine, being in this position is to find closure, to either find the Sweetmakers or find closure for where they left, wherever our leads may follow. Currently it is through this, where the electricity leads, that we are trying to find out what it is and what might be there.
Okay, they nod.
No.
Roll persuasion for me.
Persuasion.
23.
Nice. Okay, up to a 13.
What a success!
yeah.
How bitter this is now.
Can't quite.
Can't wait for
As
brunch.
of
Good
now.
meal time.
I'll have you tick that up for me.
So
But,
excited for brunch.
okay. So, everyone is kind of talking, and you've gotten your point across. And at some point, there is one of the nobles stands up and says, "Excuse me, I have to go to the restroom." And he kind of walks off, and your father just kind of looks, "Really, Ron?" And like, and he goes, "A brief relief break." And he like rolls his eyes, and that's where we're gonna take our break.
More wine!
When we come back, should we mention about how our party is so inclusive of everybody?
Yes.
Our party is not
Yep.
Yes.
excluding
Oh,
any.
we should have
party.
introduced ourselves first.
Oh,
I was
probably a good
Well,
idea.
I introduced my evidence. I used
Well, we-
ethos.
No, being like,
I'm
my name
also drunk. And going purely
Drunk
off of...
ethos. Drunk ethos before introductory paragraph. We'll be right back.
You were also going